What is really destroying your confidence? That's the question. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. What's destroying your confidence? I get asked about confidence consistently. So people want to know, how do I be more confident in business? How do I be more confident in my relationship? How do I be more confident in social settings? How do I be more confident in backing myself and making those tough decisions to step it up and take my life to another level or my business to another level? Confidence is really key. When I look at confidence, confidence comes from a couple of different things. So in order to have confidence, you need to have a competence. You need to be developing a skill set. Then from there, we need to commit to things and have courage. Now, the two weak points, I would say that almost everyone who's watching this, if you're not getting what you want in life or you don't have the life that you want, you probably lack courage and commitment. Most people want everything to be safe. They want everything to be certain. They want to have everything planned. They want to have everything structured before they do anything, because they want to be 100% certain that when they commit to something, it's going to work. And that's the reason why you probably don't have what you want. Really, you need to say, this is what I want, and I have the courage to go after it, and I'm going to make the commitments to go after it. That's the biggest differentiator that I have seen between the super successful people who are highly driven, who are highly motivated, who are highly enthusiastic, and really want to push themselves for growth versus everybody else. I really don't think that it's too hard to win in life, because you'll stand out above others if you just do the things that other people won't do. Now, throughout my life, there have been so many times, time and time again, where I haven't had all the resources, I haven't had the money, I haven't had the finance, I haven't had the support from Jess, I haven't had the support from my team, I haven't had the support from people around me, and I've dropped the hammer and said, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, and right now is the time to do it, let's roll. And I drop that hammer and all of a sudden I make it a priority. Once I make it a priority and I start acting towards it, all of a sudden everything else starts pulling into alignment. But what I find is that most people just lack the courage to commit to the things that they want, which is why they never get what they want, because they're always waiting for that safe space. And if you do that, it's because mentally and emotionally you're just weak. You haven't trained yourself to make those commitments. Now, I remember the house that I have right now. I remember Jess going and looking at it, and we had a budget. And Jess came back and said, this is the house that I want. It sort of fits our price range. We went to the seller and we said, this is what we're prepared to offer. They came back and said, nope, we won't accept that offer. And so we had to stretch ourselves for it. We wanted the house. It was in the location we wanted. It's in a beautiful street. But I had to stretch myself. And I said to Jess, you know what? Fuck it, we'll make it work. And because of that, now we live in the house that we love, in the location that we love, on the street that we love. And you know what? It stretched us for a little bit. And for that period of time, I had to stretch myself into a new way of thinking, a new way of behaving, a new way of acting. And then all of a sudden the money came. Now I haven't even thought about the mortgage on the house. You know, we dumped a good chunk of change on the house. I don't even think about the mortgage. It's just done. Why? Because it stretches you to a new level of certainty. And so after you do something for 3 to 6 months, that just becomes the way that you operate. That becomes the new standard by which you operate. And then from there, I remember going out and seeing my dream car, which was my McLaren. And I remember saying to myself that when I first saw that car, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to buy that car when it comes up for sale. Like, that is my dream car. It is unbelievable. And it wasn't just the 720S. It was that specific car. It was that exact one. And then when it came up for sale, I went, shit, I don't have the money. We can't afford it. At the time, it's going to stretch the business too much. And then I sent the previous owner a message and I said, look, what would you take for it? We went back and forward. We negotiated a bit of a deal. I went to my accountant. I said, how do we make this work? He moved a whole bunch of numbers around. He said, you know what? I think we can stretch and we can make it work. But are you prepared to put yourself under pressure to raise the standards in the business and also to stretch yourself with your sales targets? And I said, well, if I keep doing what I'm comfortable with, I'm always going to be in this position. So let's do it. And then I remember going home and telling Jess, and Jess went, nope, you can't buy it. And I said to her, unfortunately, no one tells me what I can and can't do in life, because if I listen to everybody else, I would be like everybody else. And I'm not like everybody else because I don't listen to everybody else. I've always been the person who doesn't like taking orders from other people. I listen to my own internal dialogue and I stretch myself. And I've always done that, which is why we have what we have. And I reminded her of that. I ended up buying the car and she got pissed off with me for a couple of weeks. But then all of a sudden it became our new standard. From there, she actually learned that if she stretches herself more, that will become her new standard. And so for all of you out there who are wanting to go to the next level, who are wanting to grow your business, who are wanting to grow in certain areas of life, like your health, your mindset, your relationships, your finances. When you stretch yourself, it will be uncomfortable for about 3, maybe 6 months. And then after that, that will just become your new normal. Now, if you can't stretch yourself to that level for 3 to 6 months, you don't deserve to have the things that you want. You do not deserve it because you do not have the courage and the commitment to go after what you want. You say that you're committed, but you're not really committed, because if you were committed and had the courage, now courage, by the way, you don't need if you don't have fear. So when I'm scared and when I'm afraid, that's when I need to be courageous. And I know that. So I stretch myself into that fear. I go, you know what? I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the support. People around me don't understand, but I still do it anyway because I know deep down in my heart, in my soul, in my mind, or whatever you want to call it, there is something in me saying you can be better. You can stretch yourself to this level. Now, I'm not saying if you've just bought a $400,000 house that you should go out and stretch yourself to a $3 million house and lose everything. That's stupid. But what I'm saying is you need to consistently stretch yourself if you want to grow as an individual. If your business isn't stretching, I guarantee someone else around you is stretching their business, and they are going to beat you in that game because they're making those tough decisions. And I see this time and time again with my Business Growth Odyssey event. The owners always come in. These business owners always come in. And I help them to start stretching. They come up with better plans. We start setting a strategic plan for them. We get their culture guide right, and we start stretching. And then all of a sudden, you just watch their finances start going up and up and up because their finances always chase their commitments. So what happens is everyone thinks that you'll have the finances and then you commit. But that's not what happens. What happens is you commit and then the finances trail behind your commitments. So if you want to keep growing financially and you want to keep stretching your business, you keep committing to things and then you stretch the finances, and over time those finances trail behind the commitments. Now, there are other things that you need to do as well in order to put in safety buffers and things like that. But that's how you grow to be a better business person. And most of you who are listening to this won't do that because you lack the courage to commit to the things that you want that then stretch yourself, which then will drag the trailing finances behind you to get what you want. And only recently, a lot of you know I'm doing the US trip. That US trip, when I committed to it, I kept putting it off because I was waiting to be in the right situation at the right time to stretch myself into that. And then this year, I realized that I was holding myself back. I was holding myself back because I was waiting. And I kept saying at 30 years of age, I said I wanted to be in the US. Actually, I was like 28 and I said I want to be in the US. Well, I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and I hit 40, which was last year. And then I said to Jess, this is bullshit. I wanted to be in the US by my 40th birthday and I'm not there yet. And so this year I said I'm going to the US. Whether we've got the money, whether we've got the time, whatever, I'm committing to it. And so I booked my first podcast in. I was chatting to a whole bunch of different people. I booked my first podcast in with a guy who I think he has about $1 billion of net worth. I know he's got a private jet. He's got a massive yacht. I think it's like 120 or 140 foot, maybe 150 foot yacht. It's like 4 or 5 stories high. It's awesome. But anyway, I locked that in. And when I locked it in, I said, I got to be in Miami because I need to be in there for that podcast. So now I've got flights booked. I've got accommodation booked. I reached out to one of my good friends, Wes Watson, and I said, look, I'm coming across. How do we hook it up? He said, spend the week here and we'll hang out and we'll do stuff together. So that booked in that. And then from there, I just started reaching out to other people. And then now after that, at the moment, I'm talking to some huge podcasters in the US, some really big ones. When I drop it, you'll freak out. But that all started because I made the commitment and I had the courage to go after it. And I still need a lot of courage because I don't have the money. The money is not sitting there for this trip. So I have to stretch myself. I've got to come up with new products. I've got to tighten up our marketing. I've had to hit the phones more and do more sales. But it's beautiful because we just had the biggest first half of any year in the history of the company that we've ever had. Because I made the commitment, I had the courage, the business had to stretch itself, and now the money is trailing behind that commitment and that courage that I had. So look, driven mofos, if you're listening to this, I guarantee you are holding yourself back in so many areas of life, whether it be finances, whether it be your business, whether it be your relationship, whether it be the friendships that you have, whether it's the networks that you have. It might be your health. Maybe you need to improve your health or your energy or your vitality. But that fear that you have is stopping you, or that worry of like, I don't know enough, or I need to figure shit out first, instead of just going, you know what, I need to commit something, drop the hammer, and then we'll figure this stuff out. One of the best things that I've seen is people who want to lose weight go and book in a photo shoot like 3 to 6 months later. So it's already booked in. They know that now they have a deadline because they're going to get photographed with their shirt off or whatever. It scares the shit out of them. And so now they start stretching themselves because they have to. So committing, making those tough commitments and having courage is really the key to growth. Now, what does that have to do with confidence? Because this whole episode was about destroying your confidence. Well, if you want to destroy your confidence, do the reverse of what I've just said. Don't have courage. Let fear, worry, stress, concern, let all of those things occupy your mind. Let it occupy your thoughts. Let it dictate your daily behaviors. And as you do that, just let that fear and worry build in your mind like a seed. That seed is consistently growing and growing and growing. And now that seed is now germinating and turning into more seeds, right? It's become a plant and it's created more seeds. And that worry, that fear, that doubt is just going to keep growing and growing and growing through your brain. Just like ivy or a creeper, it just creeps and creeps and creeps into all your thoughts. So you might have fear around money, but then that fear around money becomes fear in your relationship, which then becomes fear in your friendship circles, which becomes more doubt in your mind around your health. And slowly but surely you watch a person just slowly disintegrating themselves, breaking down, falling apart. Why? Because they didn't have the courage to make the tough decisions and they couldn't commit. And because of that, over time, that's destroyed their confidence. And as their confidence gets destroyed, so does their life. So you have to decide how you want to live and how you want to play the game of life. Only you know if you're living up to your own standards. Only you know if you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't have the shit that I want in life. I can't travel the way that I want to travel. I can't live the way that I want to live. Now, my question to you is, why can other people do it and why can't you? And the truth probably is that you don't have the confidence, the courage, nor the commitments to follow through on what you say you're going to do in life. I would probably say that that's 100% accurate if you're listening to this and you're not moving fast towards the thing that you want. Now, I've just hired a brand new general manager. This general manager I could not afford. We were stretching ourselves anyway with this US trip. And I went, I need to go hire this general manager. So I started putting stuff on the credit card. I withdrew some of the loan out of the house. And I went out there, put that onto this general manager, hired the right person. I've been working with a couple of mentors and stuff like that, paying them a lot. All of a sudden now, I've noticed that the enthusiasm in the team has gone up. It's shot up, the energy. Because as things grow, you become more energetic, more inspired. Like imagine you go out and you stretch yourself to get that new car you want. Your energy is going to increase. Then you start going to the gym and you start exercising. You meet people there and you create this new inner circle. That inner circle that's keeping you more fit and healthy. You start looking in the mirror. Your confidence starts increasing. Your energy goes up. So now you've got more energy because you made one initial commitment, which might be to buy that new car and stretch yourself. But now you're feeling good about yourself. So now you make the next commitment, which is go to the gym. You start going to the gym and you commit to being there. And every time you feel like you can't or don't want to, or you're tired and you make some bullshit excuse, you know that that's the reason why you have to stretch. You know that's the reason why you have to be courageous and stay committed. And then you stretch yourself there. Now all of a sudden your intimate partner is feeling better. She or he is looking at you going, this person's a stud. They become more confident because they see your confidence. You give them that grounding force that makes them feel safe. So they start growing. Now your relationship starts improving. Your relationship with your kids start improving because you don't feel like a low-life piece of shit because you keep giving up on yourself. You have that confidence and that courage to just say, look at mum or look at dad. Here I am. I keep committing to things. I'm feeling better. I've got more energy. My brain's functioning more better. Fuck, life is good. And so because of that, now your relationship with your friends and your family and everything improve. So now you've got your health is improved. Your finances have stretched. So then you go into your business every day or into your career and you're like, I feel better. I have more energy. I feel more alive. My relationship's better. Why? All because of that initial commitment, that first bit of courage. The moment that you stop making the courageous decisions and committing to the things that you want, that's the moment that things start falling apart. If you keep doing that over and over and over again, and you rinse and repeat it, you do it in the area of finances, then you do it in the area of health, then you do it in the area of your relationship, or you do it in the area of your friendships or your inner circle, then you do it in the area of your mindset, and you keep working on these things, you keep growing and growing and growing. And when things are growing, your enthusiasm grows. Like it's unbelievable what happens that when you start making shitty decisions and you start putting things off, your enthusiasm drops. I know immediately if I have a couple of days where I'm unenthusiastic, I start eating shitty food, I start making poorer decisions, I start becoming more afraid, I start getting more scared, and everything just starts feeling heavy. Life is not enjoyable in those moments. So what I know is that every day I'm just going to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Stay committed, stay committed, stay committed. I remind myself, stay committed, stay committed, stay committed. And then when those decisions come up that I'm scared of, I sit there and I think, is this the next thing that's going to stretch me to that next level? Because that's what you need. You need to stretch. And that's the thing that you're probably afraid of. That's the thing that most people are afraid of. They're afraid of stretching themselves. I listened to a great interview with Troy Candy. Troy Candy has a bunch of different companies and businesses, and his business partner is Adrian Portelli. Now, Adrian Portelli is known as the Lambo guy all around Australia and around the world. He's a car collector. He owns a company called LMCT Plus. And they were having this interview, and Troy Candy spoke about he looked at a house, and he liked the house, but it wasn't really his thing. And he said, there's this really nice house that I would love to buy. It's like my dream home. And he said, Adrian, who's the billionaire, he said to him, well, do you expect to decrease your standards, or are you going to raise those standards and keep raising the way that you operate? And Troy said, well, of course I want to raise my standards. And he said, take the house that you really love, because what it'll do is it'll stretch you to that next level of growth. And Troy Candy was saying that was some of the greatest advice that he's ever gotten, was you have to commit to that thing and then stretch yourself, which then gives you the right to earn that thing. Most of you who are listening to this, you want to be somewhere different. You want to be further ahead in life, but the truth is that you're playing scared and you're not stretching yourself to that next level. You're wanting to be comfortable to that next level, and it's that comfort that is killing you. That comfort is the thing that's making you feel like shit about your life. And I guarantee most of you who are listening to this are probably sitting there going, you know what, when I have the money, then I'll do something. When I have the time, then I'll do something. You know, I probably should go and get that gym membership. You know what, I probably should work out more. You know what, I probably should eat a little bit better. You know what, I probably should network with different types of people. You know what, I probably shouldn't drink so much. That's the reason why you're stuck. You go, right, I probably should go to the gym. Fuck it, I'm getting a gym membership, and you go get one. And it's going to scare you. If you walk into the gym and you don't feel good about yourself, that place is going to suck. But that suck feeling makes you earn the right to feel better about yourself. And when you earn that right, you'll feel confident. And so confidence comes from earning the right because you're doing things that most other people won't do, and you do the things that scare you. And that's what most people are afraid of. That comfort area sucks. Every time I sit in it for too long, it destroys my confidence. And I remember going through COVID, being so afraid and so scared. My fears, my doubts, and my worries, it destroyed me. I put on weight. I felt like shit about myself. I couldn't make decisions. Now, I was pushing, but I was pushing for survival. After my mid-20s, I never sat in that comfort spot. And things around me were always growing. I just couldn't control my mindset. I couldn't control my stress, which was why I was afraid of it. What would happen would be I'd commit to things, start stretching myself, but I didn't enjoy the process of stretching myself. And because I was around a whole bunch of other business owners who would complain about the discomfort of stretching, I would feel like shit as I was stretching. And so because of that, I would sit there and go, oh, this sucks. It shouldn't feel like this. And I kept dreaming of this day where everything would be comfortable. My mindset was the problem, not myself stretching. And most of you who are listening to this who are stretching, your mindset is wrong. Stretching should be the fun thing. It should be like, man, this feels uncomfortable. That's why I love it. Instead of this feels uncomfortable, this is bullshit, this is crap. I listen to a lot of business owners, they want to grow their business. But at the same time, when they stretch themselves, all of a sudden they start complaining and bitching and moaning and whinging because they're stretching. That's the enjoyable part. When you learn to enjoy that part, man, you'll love it. And so after COVID, I stayed playing afraid, and I did it for a while, and it just made my life suck. I hated where I was. But once I started committing to things and stretching myself, my fitness improved, my body weight improved. All of a sudden, like, I'm going to the US. Money's starting to roll in. We had the biggest half ever in the history of the company because I had to stretch myself to that level. And the cool thing is, once I started doing it, Jess started doing it. And now Jess wakes up and we have all these problems, not us personally, but we have these problems. There's things going on in the business, but we wake up and we're like, cool, let's go solve these challenges. Let's go solve these issues. Let's make sure we get the team onto things. Let's plan effectively. Let's sit down and let's keep stretching. Let's go hire some more staff. And every one of those problems has a solution attached, which is exciting because we know the growth is there. That's the thing that most of you aren't doing, is that when you stretch, you let that toxic negativity in your mind because you're comparing where you're at and the challenges that you have to this ideal of comfort and ease and all of the bullshit things that most mediocre people chase. If comfort and ease is your goal in life, you have already fucking lost the enthusiasm of life. And I guarantee that. And I hope that this episode is the knife in your heart that you're going to realize that your life sucks because of the choices that you make. Instead of seeing growth as fun and exciting and the thing that's going to stretch you to that next level, that's going to make you a better person, and that you get to enjoy the process of stretching yourself today, then you're going to hate your life. And so what happens is that most people, they say stupid things like, life should be comfortable, life should be easy. Go show me throughout the history of humankind where life has been comfortable and life has been easy. The only people who say that are people who are lucky enough to live in a great country where we get over-supported and they hang out with other douchebags who think exactly the same way. That is it. Throughout human history, we have been at war. Men have had to be strong and able and competent. Women have had to be great nurturers, supported, caregivers, and also very growth driven, because if they're running a family, they have to be growth driven as well because the children look up to them. And then husband and wife support each other. That's if it's a heterosexual relationship. But I'm just giving some examples. Go through fucking history and go and have a look at how many times people have had the opportunity to be comfortable. It's never, ever happened. It happens right now. It happens now because we live in a comfortable age, in a comfortable country where we can say dumb shit like that. As you travel around the world, you see people struggling every day, wanting to be a little bit better, trying to stretch themselves by working, by pushing themselves, by being an amazing support and role model for their family. These are the things that have happened since the dawn of time. Most people who talk about comfort and ease and simplicity and shit like that, they're normally people who are way too comfortable. And they're way too comfortable, and because of that, their life is completely uncomfortable because life is trying to stretch them. It wants them to grow. And if you want to destroy your life, keep showing the people around you, including your kids, that comfort is a really bad way of living. Like, it sucks. Right? And that's why we have this weak population of people now with kids who don't want to work, people who don't want to put in effort. Everyone's looking for the easy option. You know, it's so much easier to go get your fat cut off instead of exercising, but you will never earn the courage, the confidence, the self-belief, the self-worth, everything like that you need to succeed by consistently doing those things. So driven mofos, get out there, make those decisions, be courageous, commit to the things that you want, and watch what happens. Your confidence will go up. And as your confidence goes up, you'll keep committing to bigger things. You'll keep having the courage to keep chasing those things. The day that that shifts, the day that that changes, you will start losing your confidence. So if you're sitting there right now with doubt in your mind, with fear, stressing and worrying about everything, I guarantee you need to go out there, commit to something that is going to stretch you, have the courage to go after it, and watch what happens in a couple of weeks. You start to get your confidence back again. Driven mofos, have a great day. Keep kicking ass. And remember, if you haven't rated this podcast, please do so. It takes 2 seconds. Just click on the star rating. Give us a star rating. Let's crank these up a little bit more. Let's get this podcast out to more people. I appreciate each and every one of you. Keep kicking ass, and thanks for being part of this awesome community. Take care. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.